The landscape of personal threat has fundamentally shifted. Blackmail today is no longer confined to crude, physical threats of the past. Modern blackmail leverages the digital domain, threatening the exposure of private content, whether real or synthesized. With the rise of deepfake AI, an attacker can generate hyper-realistic nude photos or videos, or any form of intimate content that you foolishly believed was secure. The blackmailer's power resides not in the content itself, but in the panic they anticipate. But you must understand this fundamental truth. The moment they make contact, they have exposed their own weakness, their dependence on your fear. This is not a situation requiring submission. It is a tactical engagement demanding psychological superiority. We are revealing 3 mind tactics utilized by masters of influence, public figures, and survivors who refuse to be victims, designed to shut them down and reclaim every ounce of power. For those who commit to this knowledge, a bonus strategy awaits at the conclusion, a digital evidence trap that can dismantle their entire operation and safeguard your future. This is not hypothetical advice. This is real, documented psychology and strategy. Number 1. Reversal threat, the symmetrical weaponization. The blackmailer begins the engagement believing they possess a unique, irreplaceable weapon, your compromising content. Our first maneuver, reversal threat, instantly shatters that belief by introducing symmetrical warfare. You must demonstrate, with chilling clarity, that you possess the capacity and the willingness to inflict identical or greater damage. This is about flipping the psychological script. If the content they sent is clearly a digital fabrication, a low-effort, AI-generated deepfake, your response must be one sentence of pure dominance. I can do the exact same to you. This line is a psychological bomb. It immediately shifts the paradigm, generating genuine fear within the blackmailer because they realize their single-use weapon is now available to you. The moment they sense they are facing an equally armed adversary, the cost-benefit analysis of their crime flips dramatically. They thought they were hunting prey. They discover they've cornered a predator capable of immediate, reciprocal harm. The challenge becomes more complex if the photo or video is undeniably real. Here, your tactic must be slightly refined but no less intimidating. Your response should be an assertion of superior technical capability and moral indifference. That content may be real, but I have the resources to generate something far more convincing and devastating to your reputation. Would you like to witness that capability? This response is dominant because it elevates the threat beyond simple exposure. You are implying not only that you can manufacture a crisis for them, but that your version would be more damaging, more believable, and executed with cold precision. This plants a deep, corrosive doubt in their mind, building a defensive fear that immediately forces them to pause their aggression and puts you definitively back in control. Remember, this tactic requires knowing the blackmailer's identity or possessing a reliable trace of their connection, giving you an actual target. If you already hold any compromising or identifying content regarding them, even a photo of their profile, this tactical threat becomes lethally effective. You are no longer defending, you are counter-threatening. Number 2, shamelessness, armor, the weapon of apathy. The core psychological mechanism of blackmail is shame. The blackmailer is not armed with the photo or the video. They are armed solely with your reaction. The anticipated panic, the pleading, the desperation, their control is entirely predicated on your emotional surrender. The second tactic, shamelessness armor, is the radical and complete denial of that essential fuel. When they send the demand, when they issue the threat, your strategic response is utter, crushing indifference. The words must be delivered with flat, unshakable apathy. Go ahead, send it. I genuinely don't care. This statement is the ultimate control destroyer. By acting as if the exposure has already occurred and its consequences are entirely irrelevant to you, you strip them of their leverage. The blackmailer's ego thrives on your agony. When you offer nothing but silence and indifference, their motivation collapses. They have nothing left to threaten you with because the threat has been neutralized by your preemptive acceptance. Look to the highest levels of power: public figures, politicians, and celebrities. They navigate career-ending scandals not because they are innocent, but because they master the art of non-reaction. They walk through the fire of public shame without flinching. They demonstrate that the revelation is merely information, not destruction. When a blackmailer realizes they cannot embarrass you, they cannot elicit the required satisfying panic, and they cannot leverage your deep personal shame, they lose their entire psychological foundation. The blackmailer's weapon rusts in their hand. This tactic demands emotional strength and impeccable delivery, a calmness and confidence that broadcasts absolute security in your actions. If executed flawlessly, your position becomes untouchable. Number 3, vanishing pressure, the silence of superior planning. The third tactic understands that often the loudest threat is the one that is never spoken. When a blackmailer anticipates a response, a frantic plea, a negotiation, a denial, your masterstroke is absolute, calculated silence. This is vanishing pressure. Your immediate, unwavering response is to block them, ignore them, and refuse to engage. No begging, no arguing, no emotional reaction whatsoever. Psychologically, this triggers acute cognitive dissonance in the blackmailer. Their brain requires the emotional validation of your panic to confirm their power, but you deliver an impossible void. They immediately begin to overthink. Why is this not working? Are they not scared? Are they planning a counter move? Have I underestimated them? This silence is a cognitive poison. They move from a position of confident aggression to a state of confusion, panic, and loss of control. Your lack of response is not defeat. It is a scream of preparation. I am already 2 steps ahead of your childish games. Even if the content is real, this strategy works because it attacks their confidence. This tactic is best deployed when you sense the blackmailers still testing the waters, probing for your fear, not after they have made concrete moves to expose you. Silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty is the most potent form of fear for a predator. The more confused and afraid they become, the more psychological power is systematically drawn back into your hands. Bonus strategy: the digital evidence trap. If you have deployed the psychological tactics and the threats somehow persist, you must shift from a defensive strategy to an offensive legal one. This is the evidence trap, and it is the final, decisive move. Do not argue, do not threaten back, and do not offer any resistance that wastes effort. Instead, dedicate yourself entirely to meticulous, relentless documentation. Every message, every poorly worded threat, every image, every call, screenshot everything, record every word. This process is known as digital documentation, and it turns the blackmailer's weapon, the trap of exposure, back onto the aggressor. You are silently collecting the evidence needed to ensure their criminal conviction. Once you have gathered sufficient verifiable evidence, your next move is calculated and sudden. Take the entire dossier to the police or the cybercrime unit. The vast majority of blackmailers are cowards who operate under the illusion of anonymity and power. The moment they realize you are no longer a frightened victim, but a silent hunter building a concrete legal case against them, they will panic and often vanish completely. Remember this above all else: the power we have discussed today is not random advice. These are tools rooted in real psychological principles for survival in a hostile world. People weaponize fear to control, destroy, and silence. Use these tactics wisely. Never forget the core principle of influence. Control isn't taken, it is always surrendered.